Yeah.
All right. Hi, good evening, everyone. So today we'll be, I'll not be saying studying, but today we'll be actually learning, and it is more of a re-emphasizing that we as a person do not know ourselves, right? At times, right? At times we feel that, we are inferior, we someone doesn't love me, I am not a great leader, and at the same time our inner heart says that no. Let's say Rachel, Greg, Regina, Tina, you're a great person. You know that you can conquer the world, you can conquer your office, you could be a CEO of your office, right? Sometimes what it happens is that you feel that you can be a masterpiece, right? You have got the abilities which no one else has, right? At times, I believe I am able to resonate, right? You're able to resonate what I'm talking, right? Correct? So at times we feel that, and both of the feelings are at the same time. I would say 20% of the feeling is on a positive note and 80% of it is on a negative note, right? That so when I say negative, that means like you cannot do it, you do not have the ability, no one loves you. But then, however, so what happens is our focus changes to the 80%, and we are not able to become a leader in our career, or we actually focus on what we are not, right? So today's presentation is all about, as it is saying, that leadership is a personal thing. It is not a positional thing. It is not a rank, right? It is never a rank. People have actually kind of are perceiving it to be a rank or a position, but it is never a rank or a position. It is a personal choice. It is a soft skill, I would say, right? With only communication, or there are few factors which I'll be covering it in the next slides, that you'll be able to, resonate which I'm talking. Whether you are, so I first of all wanted to know about your profiles, like, what are you working at, and what are you good at, or how good at are you, and are you facing any challenges? We'll keep on covering it, like, during the presentation. I want you to, be open, be talk through. Do not talk as if you're talking to me as a kind of just for this presentation. Talk to me as a friend and tell me your challenges, and hopefully I should be able to guide you to the right path, because I possess more than 24.5 years, so close to 24 years in this IT industry, right? So when I started, it was in the year 2000, 2001. So if I talk about excluding those COVID years, like I'm having more than 20, 22 years of experience. It's like that. Okay. In fact, the experience that I had in COVID was actually I should be counting it as a double instead of counting it none, right? Okay. So, any particular, I would like to start. What are your expectations from this training before we unfold the rest of the slides? Rachel, we can start with you.
Yeah, I expect to be able to get all the most important tools I need as a leader
Yep.
in this few time, in this small, short. I think you should be able, we should be have excellent leadership skills right out of this session. How about
Yes.
that?
Yep. Perfect. Your
On
expectations,
it.
as we say, like your wish is my command. Okay. Yes. Rachel.
I'm looking at your slides and you said leadership is personal, not positional. I've been
Yep.
asking myself that question. So in this session, my expectations is to try and tap in to what everybody else is saying.
Yep.
Um, I've been told I'll get things done. I will, I will take care of persons. I have the ability to take the lead if someone is in trouble. That's the leadership inside of me, but I don't tap into that to say, okay, I'm a leader.
Correct. I'll come on to that factor. That's an amazing factor. You're actually at the right path, you know. So, because when someone needs a help, right, they actually look at the leader and they are expecting that the leader should automatically understand our problems and guide us, right? However, at times people are not able to express themselves that what they want and what exactly is their problem. Sometimes they expect the leaders as their parents, right? That they will understand it themselves, right? Just like a 1-year-old kid. So I don't know how many of us are married here or have got kids. Okay, Rick. Okay, so you may have,
And
or maybe
Regina.
like, no, okay, okay. So, or maybe if you're a bachelor, but then still in your family or in your relatives, you might have seen, or you yourself, right, were 1 year, 2 years old, right? So you would have expected, or your expectation, you might have seen that a 1 year old expects his parents or the elders that they are able to understand themselves, right? So what exactly they want. It is not that every time they are pushing the milk bottle in his mouth and then he's hungry, right? So at times he's facing multiple issues, right? So likewise, if you correlate it with a leader, right? A leader should be equally be able to make the things better for his or her team members, and equally he should be able to guide the team members based on their conditions, what they have, right? Tina, I believe you're still driving, right? But what are your expectations in 2 3 words out of this workshop, if you can talk? If you cannot talk, that's okay. Regina, any expectations from your end? I hope you have
Yeah,
stopped the
I think,
car, right?
yeah, no, yeah, I'm at the red
Okay.
light.
Okay.
No, so I think it's important that even when we don't have the title, that we embody the leadership skills, that we embody the leadership persona. And I
Hmm.
think if we're able to tap into, so I think Raquel, you were talking about that, right? Because many
Mhm.
times when we don't have the title, we don't feel like we have the power. And sometimes we're not empowered by our leaders, right? But how can we still embody the skills, right? Have it work on our skills and show up as leaders, regardless of our title and regardless of our role, right? So how can we do that? And so it's like an inner mindset thing and saying, you know what, today I'm going to be a leader. Today I'm going to feel like the leader. I'm going to show up like the leader. And you can provide coaching or you can provide mentoring or you can help somebody out. You can become a subject matter expertise. There's different ways of doing that that you're still growing your skills, right? Whether we have the title or whether we're empowered or not by our organization, because I know that sometimes we have roadblocks, but how can we still show? I guess that's the question. How can we still show up as leaders and embody that mindset?
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yes.
Thank
So
you.
I hope that I'll be able to accomplish all of your expectations, and wherever I'm not, just let me know. I'll be able to guide you through those particular contexts. If it is not covered in the presentation, I'll take it out of the syllabus as well. I'm happy to take the out of syllabus questions as well. Okay. So if I talk of Kath, I forget. Kath, I forgot. What are your expectations?
Um, I have a question. You can answer
Yep.
it later.
Yep.
So, what is your biggest leadership lesson?
Mm-hmm. Okay, that will be covered in the last slide
Yeah.
in the key takeaways, and we'll be able to gain that through in addition to my what is written in my slide, right? So in addition to that, we may get to a point or we may get to another key takeaway to the best leadership skill, right? So during the presentation, as we actually all, so think as if you all are presenting, right? This workshop. It's not only me who is presenting this workshop. Think as if you all are in the same situation. You are presenting it to your audience. Now I can see Tina is unmuted. Okay. Okay. So, if anyone wants to have a question, just please raise it. And if I'm not looking at the screen or if I'm not at the screen, just Kath, if you could facilitate it, so that I can answer that question.
Sure.
Okay. So, primarily our topics or the pointers that we'll be covering during this 1 hour uh, would be that I wanted to take you long back when it was an autocratic or a bureaucratic matter, right? Then versus now. And then we'll be covering the self-discovery to find the inner leader, right, within you. Further, we'll be also talking about the different styles of the leadership and situational use cases, primarily how the mindset shift happens, right? From the leaders or from the leadership traits that we'll be covering. Next slide. It would be, I'll be covering my personal journey and I'll would love to listen to your personal journeys or stories. The as in how did you become or reach at this situation where you are able to, manage people or you want to manage people. So I wanted to help you in building your roadmap towards building yourself a great leader, and people would love you as a leader, right? That's the most difficult part, right? And love you for a prolonged time, right? Which is almost unachievable factor for most of the leaders, right? So what happens is that I, if I am presenting this workshop as a leader, you may be able to love it. But the moment, let us say tomorrow morning, if I wake up and I go to my office, but I'm not able to present the same leadership skills in my office, right? So then I'm not a great leader. I may be a great leader for a temporary time, right? Just for this 1 hour, I may be a great leader. I guided you. I am able to lead and to your situations, I'm able to guide you as a leader. So perhaps I'm a short-term leader, but I'm not a long-term leader, right? So in short, I'm not a leader in that case, right? And then we'll be also having some peer feedback, and then we'll be able to quickly wrap it up, right? So and perhaps we'll be able to take care of, if the time permits, we'll be able to take care of the Q&A pieces, right? So we'll continue with next slide, please. Okay. So to start with, I wanted to know what's one quality you admire in a leader. And as I said, it's not only me presenting this slide, you're also accompanying. Okay. So feel free to share any quality that you admire in a leader.
A leader that I think a good leader is one that provides direction and what we call soft skills is very in tune and in touch with the persons they lead.
Perfect. Yep. Any more pointers? Anyone?
I think empathy, right?
Yep.
A good leader has empathy, but also is strong enough to provide feedback,
Hmm.
but also strong enough to receive feedback.
Yep. Absolutely. The later is more difficult to find, right? They just wanted to impose their words, but they are not ready to take the feedback, right? It's like that. And that's a common scenario. Any more pointers, Rick, Kath?
For me, a leader needs to be clear
Yep.
and able to explain the why behind the approach, right?
Hmm.
And be respectful of feedback to help them, make the right decision.
Yes.
Understand that they don't know it all. I think that those are some foundational things for me.
And according to me, what I actually admire is that a leader should be able to lead by example, right? So instead of only telling you what to do, he should be able to do that, and then you should be able to, you're getting my point, right? So instead of just saying that, we should be doing that, it is very easy to guide people, right? It is very easy to tell as if you think of as if like as a parent or as a elder brother or sister, right? So it is very easy to guide people, but it is very almost impossible to get into their shoes and understand the situation and understand why they are not able to get to, or why they are not able to you know uh, follow our instruction, right? Just like that. Correct. Okay, we'll go to the next slide. Okay, perfect. So this, as I said, I'll take you through in pre-1950s, so close to 75 years back. What used to happen was that people were very much adamant, and they even the designations used to be commanders or enforcer, who is able to enforce a rigid, discipline-driven person, right? So do as if I say, right? So those kind of persons is pre-1950s, right? And then in the next 30 years, it the new leadership style was managerial, right? So in this managerial style, what used to be happen was that gradually people never used to like this top-down bureaucratic approach, and they started becoming in a structured and a delegatory manner, right? Let us meet the targets, right? As if they are in a sales, right? Think of as if a sales head, and he wants to achieve his targets. So obviously he's focused on his revenue and all of that factors, but then parallelly he is only focusing on meeting the targets, right? Or it is a structured and a task manager, efficiency and productivity driven manager. Those are up till 1980s, right? But then gradually now it is coming on to us, right? From 1980s to 2000s, right? So what happens was that leadership style changed into a participative style. You're getting it, right? You're able to resonate it. Think as if what we studied in the history, right? History and civics, right? So say in our academics, we studied about those leaders in the past, right? And now you are able to resonate on what I'm talking about, that earlier leaders in 1950s were all authoritative, and gradually when we see let's say the presidents in uh, before 1980s were all sort of focusing on the targets, right? And then post 1980s to 2000s, these became participative, right? All of the leaders, you think of a leader, think, tell in the Perplexity or, or any AI tool or any Google that you will be able to resonate their participative style, right? The leadership style. And now, 2015 to present, right? So because we all know 2000 to 2015, right? So in these 15 years, let us change the game. These guys used to inspire, motivate, and they used to build a culture, right? So this I'll not cover it up. Now I'll cover up the today's factor, which is empowering leader. You know, a leader should be equally a coach, and he is a servant leader as well. He is not a posing as a family leader. Everyone should respect me. He's equally, if is like, if something he has to deliver, he is not hesitating to take his laptop, and he's not hesitating to open it up, connect it up to the HDMI cables and present it, right? It is not that someone he is hired to take his laptop and then he's guiding all those factors, right? So he is equally participative, he's equally empowering, right? And he is also a servant leader himself, right? He doesn't bother if there is no one else to give him the water. He can go to the water cooler and get it, right? So it's like that. Those particular leaders, now forget about those particular factors. When we used to go to office, we used to ask for, get me a tea person. That means like it now even the CEOs are going to the coffee machine and getting their own coffee, right? So they are equally servant leaders, right? So they don't have any ego problems, and those are the leaders who are sustainable leaders, right? Who do not hesitate to walk away, who do not hesitate to talk to a junior software engineer or a junior analyst, right? Talking their problems, understanding their problems, guiding them, right? So those are the leaders. And gradually, I would say understand from those particular factors what I'm talking about. Think about the persons that you feel are leaders, and then you will be able to come on what I'm talking about. Do not take this as a presentation. Think of as a coaching, or think of as me as your friend talking to you, right, during this presentation. And then if you have anything, any pointer, feel free, right? Even if it's a silly pointer, I don't mind, right? So I've seen one leader, he was showcasing him to be a leader, but then in actual sense, I feel that. Do you ever feel that, right? Is it Rachel? Rachel?
All right, I thought you said Rick, and that's Raquel.
Raquel, right? Raquel.
Hmm.
Okay. So, yeah, do you feel sometimes like, you have met some leaders and who are predated, like who are in their scenarios, but who are kind of more authoritative? Like,
I've experienced a couple of those. I was sitting here thinking, when was the last time I found one that has been empowering?
yes,
It's very rare. We all get in caught up in targets and more authoritative.
correct.
Transformation does happen, but it takes a while to get it into the DNA
Hmm.
of uh, a leader who's also trying to transform along with the team.
Yes, absolutely. Correct.
So
So,
I've had persons who are empowering. I mean, just having Rick and Regina here,
hmm
I started my agile journey because of Rick. I learned more as I got into coaching, and I liked what the team has presented to us. So I try to, what would they do in a particular situation? So they are doing the transformation.
Mhm.
Yes. I think that's
Perfect.
the last set of people I'm seeing who can do the transformation.
Yep. Brilliant. Yep. All right. So let us move on to the next slides and more interesting okay. So this was, as I said, like, which leadership trend have you personally witnessed shift, right? So as you rightly covered, so we can move it forward. Next slide, please. Anything you wanted to add, Regina? Okay, perfect. So just stop me, anywhere you feel like stopping and discussing. I'm happy to take up the discussion pointers, and I'll let you know if these are already covered in my slides or if it is, we can equally discuss it. Okay. So self-discovery, the inner leader, as I said, it is within yourself, right? You need not find a leader for yourself. It is within you, right? And all that is as a person, you should be able to re-emphasize and you should be able to kind of find within yourself, right? So let us see. The next slide, please. Yep. Okay. So when I am talking about the core values, right? So if you can zoom on the screen and see from the window that these are few of the core values which you see that are kind of, the core values in a leader, right? So from the integrity point of view, or if it is, you can choose any of the best five and see and visualize that are you actually doing it? Take 30 seconds, read through your top five. Let's say take an example, adaptability. Are you enough flexible in response to change, which you said, right? So stays calm and effective in an uncertainty. When someone needs help, are you having a clear picture on the vision of a better future which inspires the direction and the purpose, right? So from a growth mindset, do you have a growth mindset? If yes, if you have any of the five qualities, that means you are already a leader, right? So if I talk about from the inclusiveness, right, valuing and involving the diverse voices creates space to all contribute, right? So that all can contribute meaningfully, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to read some of that.
Yep, perfect.
Can you make it a little larger, please? Thanks. Oops.
Okay.
Okay.
I've already zoomed it out on the screen, and the
Oh,
moment you press the plus button,
there
you
you
can
go.
zoom it. Yeah, you can scroll it and then zoom it yourself. It is better like base because we are not sure which screen are you on at, right? So are you able to do it, Rekha?
I can see it now. Thanks.
Okay, perfect. Okay. All right. So we'll move on to the next slide if it is done. Okay. So these are, I've now covered the strengths that actually rely in the tough times, right? This is primarily only for the leaders. When you have these strengths, or in case if we do not have, then we need to develop it, right? So as a coach, I would advise you, if you do not have any of these are the core strengths of the leaders. And I'm talking in today's perspective, right? So resilience means learning through your bad times and becoming it, overcoming your bad phases. Clarity if you are able to communicate clearly, I guess when the meeting started, right? So Rick, his expectation is that if a leader is able to communicate clearly what he wants to focus or what he wants to achieve, that means he's a true leader, right? You yourself mentioned, right? A or Regina mentioned about the empathy factor, right? That who is able to understand the team struggles, right? And responds with the care and support, right? Rikal, your point is also very much covered, right? So optimism inspires hope and confidence without denying the reality, right? We should be equally understand what exactly is the reality, what are the facts and figures, whether my team will be able to achieve those targets or not, right? So we need to actually talk through understanding, getting into their shoes, right? Only then we can understand it, those particular factors, right? Okay, let us move to the next slide. Okay, so Gallup Clifton, right? So Gallup Clifton, if I talk about, he was a psychologist, right? And I would say he advised a uh, 32 distinct talent themes on reflecting how people naturally think, feel, and behave. Okay, so if I talk about the and how these skills, which you are able to see in the domains, right? He segregated into these four domains, right? All these strengths that you are able to see, right? So those strengths, how exactly are these kind of used in the leadership, right? Let us say self-awareness, right? So self-awareness is that leaders actually gain insights into their natural style of decision making, or if it is the problem solving, right? Or if it is like that. So coaching and development, right? Mentor based individual strengths. And it is not that every formula will work for all of your team members, right? So you have to actually customize it based on the person that you're talking to and then guide. It is not it is not a town hall. It is not something which is equally uh, working for everyone. It is not a kind of a noodles that everyone would like it, right? These days, even noodles are not preferred by everyone, right? So I would say this is not something which everyone likes it, right? Just like tea or coffee, or I cannot even choose an example, right? So it is not something which is generic. So leadership is equally, right? So it is not something which is a which is not which not everyone can like it, right? So you have to customize it based on the individual strengths. And I would say, as I said, like you need to focus on it is not a one size fits all, right? It's like that. Okay. So if you see that the domains, right, it is talking about relationship building, which is equally from the team building perspective, right? You have to build the complementary partnership. You have to drive a collaboration, right, towards the team. And those particular factors actually will make you a great leader, right? So this is a earlier they used to call it as a strengths finder model, and there is an assessment of brilliant questions, right? So you can just answer those questions and get to a factor wherein you can see that what kind of a leader are you, what type of a talent theme you are. You can search it on Google, go through your assessment. It takes around like 1.5 hours to get yourself assessed, and then you can uh, see what are the areas that I need to work upon before the areas that I'm lacking in, right? It is like that. Okay, let us move to the next slide. Okay, so we'll be looking at various leadership styles. As I said, it's not one size fits all, right? So there are different leadership styles, right? And there are different uh, use cases wherein you need to focus on towards the leadership, right? So if I talk about, it is within yourself, right? So when I say it is within yourself, that means all of the leadership styles I'll be talking about are within yourself, right? It is when you would be applying those leadership styles differently in a different situations, right? Okay, so let us move to the next slide. Yep. So transformational, servant, situational, coaching, and visionary. Okay. So if I talk about take it from the real world scenarios, right? So we already covered in the leadership styles primer in the first slide, right? So after that, we have that situational leadership wherein you need to take a pause and then you need to guide the persons, right? As you look at the college children, right? They don't need a spoon feeding, right? There is a stage in life wherein persons do not need spoon feeding, right? So they need to assess. You need to assess when they need guidance, when they are being to, so as if like, you're making your brother or sister, making him or her to learn to drive, right? So you make them stop where they are going about to get hit. If they're driving fine, you do not guide them, right? Whenever there is a situation for break, you advise them. So likewise, in your team, let's say you are a leader of a team or a community, you need to guide them, stop them where you see that they are going wrong, right? So that is number one. Number second is you need to understand their perception, you need to understand their situation, and then guide them. Number third is you need to understand the challenges that they are going through. If they are, kind of, because they'll be able to resonate with you or they'll be able to connect with you only when you are understanding their pain areas. You're right. I'm hoping I'm able to connect with you, right? So you are able to connect to your situations. That's where I'm slow. I'm just going slow so that you can think about those situations wherein you guided the people, but they did not need your help. You are able to get to me. Uh, I hope, right? I'm
So
able to make my point clear. Yeah.
okay, so in a situation like that, my natural instinct is to have anyone explain their current situation, and then my first go-to is, what were you thinking? What you think you can do to solve it? And
Yes.
then I will pick up from there.
Correct. Yep.
That's my style.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what I was saying. That like, you need to see where they would be stuck and then you pick it up from there. It's like that.
And I don't gravitate to I don't know. The kids nowadays, the first go to I don't know. I actually try to let them think about it. I like, no, try. Tell me what you're thinking. That's
Yes.
that's my approach.
Correct. Absolutely. Yes.
So that leadership style is more like I guess coaching.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. And as I said, it's a mix, it's a blend of you as a person. Sometimes the kids, or if you're a teacher, they see you as a coach. Sometimes they see you as a transformational, or sometimes they see you as a visionary, right? So there are, this is a mix of your leadership styles that you need to bring in so that you can be a sustainable leader all through. It is not, you are not a leader only for 1 or 2 years, right? And that is where, if you are able to resonate now on the political front, why do we have change after 5 years? Or in some countries, it's after 3 years, right? Just because to reassess, have we chosen the right leader? Are we going in the right direction? Yes. Okay. Then if he actually takes on the succession, right? So in every 5 years, there is a change of shift. And then we, if the leader is the same, a leader to sustain, he's a sustainable leader, he will actually continue. He or she will continue, right? So, okay. So let us move to the next slide. I believe we are 30 minutes away from the session, right? So we'll be able to wind it up in the next 15 minutes. I just planned for 10 minutes for any Q&A, right? Just a quick time check, Kat, is
Yes,
it
you
correct?
can.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So what is the style that you naturally lean forward for a leader? And when do you think that it might fail you? Any pointers? Which particular leadership style do you naturally lean forward? And when do you think that it might fail you?
Can you show them again? Can you show the leadership styles again?
I'm so sorry.
Can you show the leadership styles again?
Yes, yes. So primarily it was transformational, servant, situational, coaching, visionary. So which one do you fall for it?
I think we're a mix of all of those different
Yes,
points, right? It just
yes.
depends. Um, I know that we cannot always be transformational
Hmm?
because we're in organizations that are not ready to transform, right?
Yes.
So then we kind of have to understand the current state and maybe be more situational or more coaching.
Hmm.
Um, Transformational goes along a bit with visionary. That's where you have the clarity, right? Yeah,
Yes.
that a leader should show clarity and always state like the North Star, which is the vision. I would say
Correct.
sometimes transformational. If
Yes.
the organization is not ready, then then we have to shift and pivot
Hmm.
to answer the question of the
Yes.
exercise.
Correct. All right. So let us move on to the next slide. Any more pointers? Feel free to talk. Okay, the next slide. Okay, so this is the next agenda item, which is almost like the mindset shift, right? So just from the getting results, you are shifting to creating an impact, right? It is not about leadership, is not about like honking an animal to get the things done, right? So or just by putting the weight, like, just by getting the results, you are a great leader, right? It is not about that. It is about how you are able to create an impact. It is not about controlling, it is about enabling them so that they can work without you. They can just take your leadership skill and they are just in a controlling, you're not controlling them, you are enabling them, right? Think from that angle. And these lessons are actually taught wherein you spend almost like grants of dollars, and you might have seen like people go for in your organization, the top C-suite, they go for leadership skills, right? Did leadership workshops, right? You do, right? You guys, have you seen your leaders going to different workshops? Yes?
No.
No? Okay. So primarily, like you see, almost top of and irrespective of the domain, right? So people go for these certain leadership skills so that they can empower themselves with such, pointers. Okay. So, and these are the only skills that are taught by spending like multi-grand dollars, right? So there are 5 to 6 days workshops, and these are like equivalent to almost um, 5 or 7 certifications cost, right? So these are huge, expensive certifications, and I have actually attended 2 or 3 certain workshops, spent like more than this one. So, and I'm just sharing the crux of those particular ship. So I cannot share their material. So what I have got is I have actually transcribed their material into my language, and then I'm telling you, right? So if you actually go through with this particular session, that means as if it is already a one PDU for you, right? But in actual sense, if you apply these skills at your workplace, it's like more than 10 PDUs, right? So, or it's actually engaging for your career, right? It is empowering your career. It's like that. So it's adding this session, like attending this session is a nitro boost towards if you apply it in the career. It's like that, right? Okay. So knowing it all to becoming being a learner as well, equally. So whenever you are guiding the people, whenever you are their leaders, at the same time, you do not be egoistic. You equally are learners, right? Equally, at times, you'll be able to learn from them, right? So your attitude towards uh, solving the problem should not be that you know everything all, right? So you know how to solve the problems. I know that, like, okay, do it like this, do it like that, and the same formula would work for all. It it is not going to happen now, right? So now, okay, let us move to the next shift. I found another, I just recall another topic, maybe like, that will be more interesting. And if possible, I can, um do my next session on that, on whenever, like, you might have seen AI, right? Everyone talks about AI, right? Everyone is impacted with AI coming in, right? So how exactly leadership, right? Leadership, as I said, right? So there are many jobs which are getting replaced with AI, but how exactly do you think that AI would replace leadership or not? What do you think?
I don't think it will replace leadership.
Hmm? But
It will just enhance it.
yes, exactly. So many people think that leadership may replace because it is some sort of, in and think of in a another approach, it would certainly enhance it. But if you're thinking from an angle that AI is something which you give an input to someone and you process through the decision trees, right? So let's say you're taking an interview, right? You're interviewing a candidate and you're assessing all of these particular skills, right? So when you're interviewing, you're assessing that whether he or she would fit into my role or not, right? Whether that person would be able to fit in the role or not, would be able to perform well. You are you can just baseline a version, but then actually, if he'll be able to perform or not, is only you can only gauge during the probation period, right? It is like that, correct? So likewise, AI would actually assist you, but then at the same time, uh, you need to this is a altogether a different topic. I just wanted to bring it now so that you can think through uh, as in I mean for the next session maybe like I'll be bringing in, so just for a food for thought, that how exactly AI can actually enable you to be a better leader, and how do you think so that we'll be able to cover it up in the next workshop, right? Okay, let us move on to, so this is the interactive activity wherein I wanted to share my leadership story. And so when I started as a software developer, I used to have a perception that my boss, right, who is bringing a finished expensive laptop leather bag, and he's in a posh car, and he's wearing some luxury boots, and he's becoming like that, or maybe he or she as well, right? I had many lady bosses, so and I used to imitate them by with the things that I had, right? With they used to carry, right? So suppose if they are carrying a fossil laptop bag, I used to buy a fossil laptop bag, and I used to think as if like I'm also a leader. I'm also a like a kind of a pro person, right? So because and then later on when I actually realized it is not about with the accessories that you carry, right? You are not a leader just because of the accessories, right? You are actually a leader, which is a soft skill, correct? So when you coach a person, it he is not looking at the luxury wash that you are wearing, right? Or he is not looking at the luxury specs that you are wearing, right? So leadership, if I talk about, it's not about the accessories that you're wearing and then you're becoming a leader. It is not that if I'm not carrying a, Armani t-shirt, if I'm not wearing a Armani t-shirt and I'm not a great leader, right? Or maybe if I'm wearing a Porsche, I'm traveling in Porsche and then I'm a good leader, right? It is not related, those particular things, right? So just wanted to share a lesson on when I just started my career journey, and not only me, it would be like even many of the guys or girls, they feel that if it is a leader, if he is a manager, he is like at a luxury. He is living a luxury life. And if we start living that luxury life, we are also managers, right? Okay. I also wanted to share, listen to you guys. How do you think, or you became a leader right now? I mean, from the past. What did you do differently to reach at this particular anyone?
Hello.
Yes. Yes, Regina.
I think I I was a leader before, more like on the management side, right? And
Hmm.
I think I was always a servant leader, but it wasn't until I became an agile coach that I appreciated more the coaching capability and and be able to step back, right? And trust that
Yep.
everybody's got their own process, and not always have to be the subject matter expertise. I think for me, that's been a journey, right? Because I also came from the project management side. It's very like, this is, you have to execute, you have to implement. So when I became an agile coach, I think that was a great learning opportunity for me,
Mhm.
and how to step back and then allow things to happen, right? And trust that everybody has their own journey and that they have to go through different things. At the same time, we're responsible for delivery because that has
Mhm.
not gone away. Even though we're agile coaches, we still have to deliver and we have to encourage the teams to deliver. So it's a mix of delivering, plus coaching, allowing them to have their own voice and have their own mindset, but then
Yep.
also guiding them, right, through the delivery process. Because that's still the expectation of the business. So that's always been an interesting balance for me. How do you keep that balance, right?
Correct.
I call it whistle while you work,
Mhm.
right? So how can I have happy teams, but then
Correct.
encourage them to work and still
Correct.
deliver? So
Yep.
I'm like, okay, we got to figure out how to whistle while we work, right? Because sometimes teams are not whistling; they're just working, 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 and that's the
Yeah.
expectation. And there's no time to breathe. So in agility, we have to allow for that breathing time for them
Yes.
to be innovative and have a voice and be able to pause. But then we still have to deliver. So it's
Mhm.
that balance that is not always easy, but helping the teams get through that is good. It's good.
Yes.
That makes
Absolutely.
sense.
Yes. Correct. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Any other pointer, if anyone wants to share?
I guess I think of you asked the question, what's your journey to get to where you are
Yes.
today?
Yes. Yes.
My curiosity in terms of figuring out how things work, how can things get better,
Mm.
led me into project management. And I think I've grown in that I now can guide teams, or the knowledge that I get through working in different roles has helped me to guide the team. So I find that since this conversation, I'm really thinking I'm also the servant and um the servant, and there was another one you had said, and the coach,
Yep.
in that I try to get the teams to deliver
Mm-hmm.
and remove stuff out of the way that is mundane so that the creatives can get their creativity going.
Yes.
That's the kind of leader I am.
Amazing.
So, like I said, the journey is because of curiosity, and as the curiosity increases, I continue that learning.
Yep.
Yeah, and try to get the mindset of my team doing the same thing.
Perfect. Okay. Very nice. So at the same time, I am also learning from you both, that it is somewhere empathy also plays a good different role. And as you said, coaching, as well as on these particular factors, I feel that I also need to uh, grow myself, setting some goals, and then be a better leader sometimes, right? In some situations, I'm also not a good leader, right? So it is like that. Okay, let us move on to the next slide. And thank you for sharing it. Yes. So this is a personal leadership roadmap, right? So what happens is that while you go to the stationery shops, you'll find these personal planners wherein they have started, uh, mentioning that what are the your key strengths and key weaknesses And when do you want to overcome those weaknesses? So there are pre-formatted template diaries that you can purchase, and or else, like, you can create a digital chart within your phone. There are so many applications in your iPads or in your tablets. So you can create it and actually work on it just 21 days, right? 21 days. If you want to avoid any habit of yours, any negative trait of yours, you can do it just by emphasizing it, marking it down. Okay, I did this negative overcome today, tomorrow, day after tomorrow. 21 days in one line, that particular trait would go off. If one day you skipped it, reset it, start it again. 21 days without any miss, you will overcome that particular negative habit, right? And this applies to everything that you can think of, whether it is coaching to a person or uh, applying, working on something which is negative or working on any personal trait. So you can eradicate and you can avoid it, right? This helps. Okay, so now I believe the next slide is on the key takeaways. Uh, you know, so as I said, like, from the key takeaways perspective, you it starts from within, right? So you need to first of all think yourself, be confident enough that you are yourself a leader. Only then people will start trusting you that you are a leader, right? And if I talk about, uh, you know, you lead every day in the small moments that you are not even realizing, right? So sometimes to the kids or to the team members, you are leading them in small moments that they think that they want to live your life, right? And so in some way or the other, you are leading them without even noticing or without even realizing that you led. Okay. Okay. So intentionality is equal to influence. So the moment if your intention is positive, that means you are influencing them in a positive manner, right? And further, I wanted to share that, kind of, do we have more slide? Yep. Okay. So you do not become a leader by climbing a ladder, right? So you become one by showing up again and again with three C's: courage, clarity, and care, right? So these three C's, actually, you guys covered it during the expectation setting. One was you need to be a uh, communication clarity, right? You need to bring in whatever you're talking about. You need to empathy towards your team members is care. Courage is you need to take decisions in an accurate manner with the facts and figures that you want to, right? So leadership only exists if people follow when they would have the freedom to not to follow. You're getting my point? Just if you read the sentence again, you'll be able to understand leadership only exists if people follow when they would have the freedom to not to follow, right? Else, there is a power and it is not leadership, right? So these are the key takeaways which I'm talking about, like, attending many workshops together. And this is one of the coaching workshops. If you guys want, I can have like another session on this leadership. It's a prolonged session, right? So there are more factors or thinking about taking some case studies, thinking about one weakness, overcoming that weakness. How do you plan? Like, you guys write yourself during the workshop, so we can have a follow-up workshop on this if you want, and then we can have a detailed session wherein you guys can come up with the areas of your own weakness areas, and then how did you overcome, and if you are not able to overcome, what are your challenges to overcome, right? So we can have a session on that as well, right? So just before we close within the next 5 minutes, so I wanted to also tell you that uh, leadership skills that actually evolve going forward in the future, right? So there would be a few leaders who would become after 2035 as well, right? So which is after 10 years, right? So after 10 years, those particular leaders would evolve understanding with a tech-driven disruption if it is a technology domain, if they are building trust, if they are able to build trust in a digital first world, right? So because we need to understand we are a digital first, right, world. So they actually need to build trust, which is a very difficult factor. They will face challenges. Thinking from that angle, right, from the future angle, trust building in a digital world is absolutely difficult, right? If you can resonate with me, right? Am I correct? Yes? Okay. Yep.
Yes.
Can you repeat that again?
So I was saying that, building trust in a digital first world, right? So think of the leaders after 10 years, right? So if they are leading a tech-enabled team and they are distributed and they have a digital first world, so building a trust that these digital is like there is nothing fake in it, there is nothing fishy in it, right? So and factors, I was talking from a perspective of leaders of the future, right? After 10, 15 years.
Okay. But are you saying that, and I'm sorry, I have some noise in the background, that they need to be more technically inclined to be trusted by their people?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Yes. More subject matter expert, right?
Hmm. Correct.
Okay.
Absolutely. That's the
Yes.
future. That's the future, right? So, and if I talk about the future, leaders should actually have more emphasis on the human skills, right? The creativity, resilience, right? Only the leaders who have that in abundance, only those people would be able to sustain as their leaders, right? So, with that note, I can leave you uh, on this particular note. We are just 2 minutes from the time. And with that note, I can conclude. Any questions? And then I can take it up, think through, or maybe you can mention it in the chat window, or maybe you can send it through on the LinkedIn. You'll be able to see the post on the LinkedIn.
No, this was really good, Jitin. Thank you so much. Let me know if you can hear me. This was very good. This was a good overview. I think you had some really good examples that we were all able to relate to. Um,
Yes.
so it was really good. I guess the biggest thing is our takeaways, right, Raquel? Like
Yes,
what
the
are our biggest,
takeaways.
yeah, what are your biggest takeaways is the question I would ask.
Well, I dug up my Clifton strengths. So um I've been meaning to pull those together to do some reinforcement and some deeper thought into leadership. And this was apt because it's not about titles, it's about who you are as a person. So
Yes.
that's a good place to be to continue that thinking and taking it to the next level.
Yep.
So that's my takeaway.
And not to forget, leadership is not easy, right? It is
Oh
equally
no.
difficult.
Oh no, it's not. Yes, that's for sure. I found what my top five themes for Clifton Strengths is. It's consistency, developer, arranger, restorative, and empathy.
Very nice.
So I have to go tap into that.
Yes.
Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And I'll keep on, conducting more sessions to come. It's like that.
No, definitely. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Sorry, I've been in the move the whole time.
Oh, no
Got home
worries.
and had to go pick up some food. But this
No
has
worries.
been good. You've been walking with me. So
Thank
thank you.
you. Thank you.
I'm gonna walk and catch up with you, Regina, for some dinner too.
Yes, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go for a walk,
Yeah,
Raquel.
it's a dinner time now. Yep.
Yes,
Yeah,
and Raquel, listen, thank you for coming to my event the week
it was
before.
thought-provoking, trust me.